Welcome to The Experience, live with Russ and Scott. Join us every Wednesday at 7 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Eastern on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. Learn more about the Experience community at our website, local.theexperience.video, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. The Experience is brought to you each week by these great sponsors. Copper Rock Real Estate. Commercial and residential real estate in the Mid-Willamette Valley. CopperRockRealty.com. Make 2025 your best year ever. Set and track your goals with the Independent Planner. Designed for entrepreneurs by an entrepreneur. Supplement your digital calendar. Independent-planner.com. Authors Joan Williams and Karen Pascal. Now available on Amazon. Your Gut and You. Proper gut biome can enhance your body's immune system while improving mental health and combating obesity. And now let's get on with the show.
Good morning. Hey, everybody. Welcome to The Experience Live with Russ and Scott. We are here and ready to roll for another Wednesday morning. We are always here at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for your listening and viewing pleasure. And, of course, 9 a.m. Texas Standard Time. And we are so thankful that you've joined us today. It's going to be an awesome day, right, Scott?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we get to start off with Shri on Instagram only, backstage, and it's just a great opportunity to kind of see what's going on. I actually set the camera up a little bit different so you could see what my messy desk looks like because, hey, it's backstage. And that's always fun. Then we get to come here. You and I are going to finish this day out with a live broadcast with the Hounds of Business.
That's right.
That is an excellent community started by Mike Aschenbrainer. Just one of our good friends, but they're doing some great things. But today's guest is going to be huge for everybody.
Yeah, I'm so excited. We have Mr. Bob Burg with us today, the Go Giver, and it's going to be a great day. But Scott, I wanted to talk real quickly about this is a month of celebration because you and I, you talked about backstage that we just were on an Instagram. Mm-hmm. Next week celebrates 3 years of doing the Experience backstage, and coming up on the 26th of March, we have the 200th episode of the Experience Live with Russ and Scott. So excited about that. Going to have some special little treats, so you don't want to miss that coming up then. And then also on the 20th of this month, I have my 500th episode of Marketing with Russ, and Mr. Bob Burg, who's with us today, was one of those 500 episodes. And I'm telling you, when we started this, Scott, never would have thought, 3 years, 200, 500. I never would have thought of those kind of numbers. Just was happy to get the first one done.
Well, and it's just been a lot of inspiration. As we say, we have the most remarkable people on the planet on our shows. And, I was able to spawn another show, the Waco Experience, an American Story, which is on radio and podcast and all of the different platforms there. But all of this came about because we were just inspired by some great friends, Jim Fuse, Alan Hennessy, who were out there leading it for us and bringing us into this great world.
Yeah, no, it was amazing to have friends that had gone before us. And so this has actually developed everybody, not only to the Experience Live with Russ and Scott every Monday, 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, but every Wednesday, 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, but on Mondays at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, we have the Experience Local Live with Russ and Scott. And Scott has the Waco Experience. Both of those shows broadcast on radio. Mm-hmm. The Waco Experience is primarily radio and podcasting, and the Experience Local live streams, becomes a podcast and is on radio. So we really kind of expanded that and just had a lot of fun with it.
Absolutely. But hey, people should follow us. Go to local.theexperience.video, and you can find all of these shows right there. You can go to the YouTube channel. Please subscribe and send us your YouTube channel. We would love to reciprocate and follow you as well. If you have 100 followers on YouTube, you're like in the top 10% of the world of YouTubers. So let's help you move up to that top 10%.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, local.theexperience.video has got all the information you need. And you can go directly to the experience.video if you want to go straight to our YouTube page and subscribe today. We'd love for you to do that. And I think with that, I am pretty excited to get. I think we need to get Bob in the house. What do you think?
Let's do it.
All right, Mr. Bob Burg. Morning, Bob.
Good morning, guys. Great to see you. Congratulations. I was listening to what you were saying, Russ. Congratulations on those wonderful numbers you've put up. Scott, you as well. And love the sound of your new show about Waco. And you guys are just doing amazing work, amazing things.
Yeah, well, we love the opportunity to chat with great people like you, Bob. But we have been so blessed with so much value and so much with so many great relationships that have developed out of the live streams. And so we're just so thankful that you're willing to be with us today. And let's just start off with some basics. I mean, I think most everybody knows you, but for those that don't, who is Bob Burg and what are you up to?
Probably best known, I guess, as co-author along with John David Mann of the Go-Giver, which is a business parable. And we have a number of books in that series and so forth. And so I've been speaking on stage now for, well, about 35 years, although I don't travel anymore. Now all my keynotes are virtual. And so, having a lot of fun. And I turned 67 a little while ago. And while I'm retired from the road, I'm certainly not retired from business. And I'll keep doing it as long as it's fun. And I got to tell you, it's fun.
Yeah. Well, when it's fun, you don't, what do they say? When you enjoy what you do, you never work a day in your life, right? And I am definitely in that arena. I love what I'm able to do, even through life challenges, keep moving forward and keep doing what I love. And I love to speak and do all that as well. And I'm all about connecting and building community. And you're all about relationships. Give us just a little snapshot into the Go-Giver philosophy.
Well, really, it's that shifting your focus. And I really believe it all begins with that shift in focus, that shifting your focus from getting to giving. And when we say giving in this context, we simply mean constantly and consistently providing immense value to others. And it's understanding that doing so is not only a more fulfilling way of conducting business, it's the most financially profitable way as well. And not for any kind of way out there, woo-woo, magical, mystical type reasons. It actually makes very rational sense. And that is when you're that person who can take your focus off of yourself and place it on serving others, discovering what they need, what they want, what they desire. When you can focus not on yourself, but on helping them solve and overcome their problems and challenges, right? When you make it not about you, but about moving them closer to happiness, well, this is where connections are made, right? People feel good about it. They feel great about you. They want to get to know you. They like you. They trust you. They want to be in relationship with you. They want to do business with you. They want to tell the world about you. They want to be your personal walking ambassador. And, that's really where it begins.
And Bob, I'm not that much farther behind you in age, having just turned 63. And
so
thank you.
Good genes is good living.
Yeah, clean living. That's what it's all about. So you had made a comment about the title that I use, motivational listener, which was, by the way, created by my wife, and I stole it from her, but I give her credit because I am a good husband. But let me just say, Go-Giver, right? So motivational listener, Go-Giver, they're both what we call a pattern interrupt, right? Because you think go-getter. So talk about how you came up with that, because that is brilliant.
Oh, thank you. So basically, when John and I developed this concept, John David Mann's my awesome co-author and really the lead writer, storyteller. He's magnificent. And when we came up with this, it was, as you said, a pattern interrupt. And yet a go-giver is not really the opposite of a go-getter. We would say we love go-getters too, because go-getters are people of action. Right? Now it all comes back to how you define a term in the first place. But if you define a go-getter as a person of action, that's so important, because we all know, everyone watching this, we're all business people, right? And we all know that you can have the nicest thoughts, most fantastic ideas, and the best of intent. But unless action's put into the mix, nothing's going to happen. It can't happen. Now, so you combine that, a go-getter, person of action, with a go-giver, someone who is absolutely, totally laser focused on bringing immense value to others. Well, you've got a powerful combination. So John and I would say that the opposite of a go-giver then, rather than a go-getter, the opposite of a go-giver is a go-taker.
Mm-hmm.
And that is that person who feels almost entitled, if you will, to take without having added value to the process, to the person, to the situation. And, while there are go-takers who, despite themselves, can be financially successful, it's a lot tougher and it's a lot more difficult to sustain.
And less fulfilling.
Much less fulfilling. Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
their personal relationships typically are not very functional and very good, just by the very nature they're a go-taker.
Well, yeah, because I think that everybody's favorite subject is themselves. But when you put the focus on the person you're talking to and giving to them, I love that. Taking the action, going after things and helping other people, lifting them up, building those know, like, and trust relationships based on really giving out to the person instead of focusing on yourself. The person you talk to, that when you say, oh, yeah, we just had this amazing thing happen to us. Someone walked in and gave us a free trip to Hawaii, and we went up, and then the person you talk to says, oh yeah, I just got back from Hawaii, and and they make it all about themselves.
Oh, absolutely.
Those are the kind of people that are the go-takers.
Yeah. Or, and a lot of people just really don't know better. They don't have the tools. They haven't been taught that's something that's really a no-no. And it's interesting because people will say, well, Bob, yeah, but in the real world, this go-giver stuff is great, focus on them, yeah, sure, after I have the money to be able to do that, okay, but I need to focus on making the money. I need to focus on myself. And I would share with them something that I used to share, and you've heard me say this before, something I used to share when I was on the road speaking to major sales organizations. The first thing I'd say is, nobody's going to buy from you because you have a quota to meet, right? They're not going to buy from you because you have a sales goal. They're not going to buy from you because you need the money. And they're not even going to buy from you just because you're a really nice human being. They're going to buy from you only because they believe that they will be better off by doing so than by not doing so. So really, the most self-interested thing you can do is place your self-interest to the side, because they don't care, and make all the focus about them. That's real world. That's how the best, most sustainably, financially successful salespeople build huge sales careers.
There was Leonardo da Vinci's resume was going around the internet a number of years ago, as he was applying for a job, and that's what he did, right? He didn't talk about all of the things that all of his accomplishments and all of his skills. He focused on the particular patron he was looking for and said, this is what you need, and these are the types of things that I will do to fulfill that need for you, right? So, and I love these types of success stories, and I want to hear from you, because I know that you have been on countless stages, worked with so many organizations and individuals. I'd love to hear some highlights from your experience that kind of typify what you're sharing here.
Well, I just posted this morning on my LinkedIn page about a woman by the name of Christy Ellis. Christy just celebrated her 22nd year as a realtor. And I want to read what she wrote. I reposted her post. Okay. And what I said was, I congratulate her wonderful accomplishment. She's by the way, multi-award-winning realtor, said all sorts of, all these things, right? But I thought she posted a wonderful summation of everything that basically a go-giver person, entrepreneur, salesperson represents. Her post read this: today starts my 22nd year in my real estate career. I started looking back on, over the years, so grateful to still be connected with so many people I worked with in the past. I closed, 12 my first year in the business, which was really good. Thankfully, I've gotten better at what I do. And this is the part here I love. It's provided me a career of making a difference for people, handling one of the most emotionally and financially charged transactions in their life, raising my family and being available for them, not having any ceiling and going as high and as far as I choose, enabling me to be philanthropic and finding volunteer opportunities, learning lots and lots of lessons, and being happy to get up every day. This career has been amazing for me, and I'm so grateful it found me when it did. And to me, that
Beautiful.
was an absolutely, beautiful.
And I love that she had that part in there about having time for her family. So
Yeah.
I know that you just spoke at the Iron Sharpens Iron Mastermind, run by Aaron Walker, and he tells a story about how he was so focused on his business,
Right.
that he said he came home with a pocket full of money to a house full of strangers.
Yeah. I remember when he, wrote that, and he's by the way one of the most inspiring people I know, and just a truly wonderful human being. And it's interesting when people like him discover that, right? They have that epiphany, and they're willing to make that change, because what they're saying is, I've had some success, I've had some victories, but there's more, and there's more I can be doing to add value to life. Right, to add value to the relationships I have.
Yeah.
And that's everything I think follows that basic premise.
Well, and I think that is so true. And you're so good at this, Bob, adding value to others. When you lift others up and you really focus on them, people come away from the conversation thinking, wow, they think a lot about you when you didn't really even talk about yourself. You lifted them up and listened to them, made it about them. And people come away feeling like there's so much value from that kind of a relationship. And I think I love that. That's just why I love the whole go-giver concept. I love this action of really being there, adding value, lifting people up, and all that you do. So you said now at this point in your career, and I'm not far behind you either at 60, almost 61.
Well, how do you guys look so much younger than I look?
Well, thank you for that. But no, but it is, you're still doing amazing things, and that's the wonders of technology. And, give us some highlights that are coming up here. Do you have some conferences coming, some things you're going to be speaking at online that we should know about?
Yeah, well, thank you for asking. I do a program. We do it. We were holding them live in person for a while, but now we've just gone to doing them online, because it's just so much easier for everybody. And people from all over the world now can do it without having to travel to Florida. And so they're called SalesWise Live. And if you go to saleswiselive.com, you can see it. And it's something I do with a guy named Jeff West and a woman by the name of Kim Angeli. And both of these people were just hugely successful, top producers in their fields. Jeff then went on to become a sales manager, a leader who had a huge organization. And after he retired, he kind of went back because he was so interested in the science of why things work, why people buy, why people will set appointments with you, why people will become your personal walking ambassadors. Kim, after her an illustrious sales career, then owned her own insurance agency for, I think, 20 years, then sold it for a huge profit. And these guys, they do such a wonderful job. So the three of us together, we hold a three half days called SalesWise Live. And we're actually doing a free 36 minutes next week, that in which we kind of, we all take turns doing 12 minutes of our best stuff. And then we open it up to Q&A. And so what happens is people can listen in on that and see if just getting a taste. It's not an infomercial in terms of we're just talking about the event. No, it's actually 12 minutes from each of us of real action oriented. You can use this today as soon as you leave this, this thing. And then of course, a lot of people, they want the whole thing after they attend it. But even those who don't, it's okay because they got great value. So yeah, we're loving that. This is so much fun. These guys are such a joy to work with.
So I love that you're living out the Go Giver right there.
Yeah. Well, and I love the fact that you're doing it in these action-packed, short, information-packed segments. Yeah. I think people don't want to waste time. And when you are giving them value and you're right on it, and there's, it's not just you rambling on about whatever. Right. People, they find so much value in that. And I just think that whole idea is amazing. I always say, leave them wanting more, right?
Well, yeah, as long as you give them really great action-packed value they can take away, even if they did nothing else, you get the best results from that, because those are the very people who say, let's face it, and most of us I think, who are listening to this, we all have the same basic philosophy. We want to keep learning, right? So the more successful someone is, the more they say, okay, I want to learn one new thing that's going to bring great value to my life and business, but I also want to hear some things I already know, but maybe that I'm not applying right now as I should be. So I think it's a mindset, more than anything else, a one of growth, one of continually wanting to learn and get better.
Yeah, for sure. Scott?
It's just, Bob, I'm going to just take a moment right now and ask if we can have you back sometime, because there's so much more that we can learn and share with folks. I'd like to get into your whole journey of how you got to this point. And I know that Russ is going to come up and say, being the responsible host.
Yeah, but until we get to that, yes.
But I just, can you give us just kind of a high-level overview of your career path?
Well, I started out in broadcasting, first as a radio sportscaster, and then as a news guy at a very, very small ABC affiliate in the Midwestern United States. A very small station, but it was really good because you got to learn everything. You had to do everything, sometimes shoot your own stories, and so forth, and learn how to produce the news. What happened, I was a horrible news guy. I just wasn't a news guy, but I got to learn. It helped me for interviews that I would do later on and putting together good video preview things and stuff like that. But I very quickly, after about a couple of years of doing that, I graduated into sales. Now, I knew nothing about sales because I hadn't had any formal training, and I floundered for the first few months. And then I'm in a bookstore one day. This is about 40 years ago. And I saw two books. One was by Tom Hopkins. One was by Zig Ziglar, two of the legends in the sales world, of course. And just seeing their book titles inspired me, because I had no idea there was actually a methodology to selling. So I got their books, and I always say I didn't read them. I devoured them, and I would just go through them from the moment I got home from work and into the wee hours of the morning, and taking notes, and highlighting, and practicing, the whole thing. And within a few weeks, my sales began to go through the roof. And at that point, there wasn't really a whole big difference in me personally, but now I had a methodology, or what I like to refer to as a system. Now, personally, I define a system as the process of predictably achieving a goal based on a logical and specific set of how-to principles. The key being predictability. If it's been proven that by doing A, you'll get the desired result of B, then all you need to do is A and continue to do A, and eventually you'll get the desired result of B. So once I knew this, now I start studying all the sales books, going to whenever I could go to a sales conference and get on, back then it was cassette tapes and, so forth. But you know what the best part was? Is learning that yeah, the sales how-tos, of course, they're very, very important. But even more important is all the ancillary information you learn, right? The success of it. You realize that success is an inside job. It manifests itself outwardly, of course, but it begins in here in the head and in here in the heart. So I start studying, right, all these recommended books like How to Win Friends and Influence People and Think and Grow Rich and The Magic of Thinking Big and As a Man Thinketh and Psycho-Cybernetics and I still got, and excuse me one moment. Here's my Psycho-Cybernetics book at the cover. Even it's the original one that I had in notes I took from back in the 80s, right? And I mean, this book helped me so much because it was the first book. Bless you. It was the first book that I read, or first exposure I had to the idea that we operate through an unconscious set of beliefs that have been handed to us and that we willingly accept because we didn't know better. I mean, basically it's, it's upbringing, environment, schooling, news media, television shows, everything that comes into our lives. And by the time we're little more than toddlers, our basic set of beliefs are sort of intact. This was the first time I realized, and what he said was that you can never accomplish more than your most limiting beliefs. Who knows this stuff until you learn it, right? So I just went on my education. I was a horrible student in high school. I got into college on academic probation, and I'm fairly certain I graduated on academic probation. My education really began once I got into sales. And, from there was no looking back. And, eventually I became sales manager of another company, started showing others how to do the same, started speaking, blah, 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 yada, 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 as they said on Seinfeld. And here we are today.
Well, it's very true that life is the greatest teacher, Bob. And man, you have so much information. I'm going to just second Scott's motion. We're going to have to schedule you back on to have a little more conversation, but we need to wrap up for today. So being the responsible host, I just want to have you give everybody your gold nugget of today of what, really you want people to remember from this conversation, and then remind people how to get in touch with you.
Sure. Well, a great mentor of mine once said, Burg, if you want to make a lot of money in sales, he said, don't have making money as your target. Your target is serving others. Now, when you hit the target, he said, you'll get a reward, and that reward will come in the form of money, and you can do with that money whatever you choose. But never forget, the money is simply the reward for hitting the target. It ain't the target itself. Your target is serving others. And I think that's so key. Anyone who'd like information on me, Burg, BURG.com, pretty much everything is there. And I put a link in the comments for the free online training called Get Sales Wise that we're doing next week.
Yes, and I got that up there, and all of your contact information is there. Everybody listening, it is clickable. You go straight to Bob. Just click on the information. You can find out about everything going on and about the live training coming up. And Bob, we are so thankful that you're here today. What a blessing. Thanks so much for spending time with us. And we're going to send you to the green room and say goodbye, but hang tight for just a second. We'll talk to you after.
Thank you both.
Thanks, Bob.
Wow. I tell you, it gets better every week.
Well, as we say, we have the most remarkable people on the planet here every week, providing inspiration. And in this case, some very practical tips that we can do. And I love that final summary about money is not the goal.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I just love that he's all about giving and relationships, and he's speaking my language. I just love that. So, well, listen, everybody, it's been awesome. We're so thankful you're here. Remember, we're here at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time and 9 a.m. Texas Standard Time every week for your viewing and listening pleasure. That's right. We go live at 7 a.m. Pacific, but then it sits on all the platforms, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook forever. You go back, you can watch that. You can connect with people still. You can comment There's so much you can still do and rewatch it. Also, if you don't have time to watch, you can listen. This converts also to audio podcast on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, whatever your favorite podcast platform is. And we would love to have you do that. Remember that you can find out all the information about us at local.theexperience.video and about our other shows as well. We'd love to have you do that. And if you want to go directly to our YouTube page, you can go to theexperience.video and subscribe today. And with that, Scott, I think it's time to wrap up another amazing show.
Yeah, thank you to Bob for joining us, and Russ. Thank you to you for all of your work and energy that goes into creating these shows, and especially a big thanks to Ever behind the scenes, who makes so many things happen for us. Ever, we just appreciate you so much.
Yeah, Ever's amazing. And speaking of Ever, she put this together with other things. 200 coming up soon on the 26th. Everybody, don't forget. We just want to thank all you and remind everybody that we are sponsor driven. Our great sponsors, Copper Rock Independent Planner, and Joan and Karen today. Want to thank all of them. And also we are listener supported. So you can scan that QR code or go to the link in the comments today to support us. We appreciate that. And with that, we're going to say goodbye for another amazing week. Another amazing show. If you guys don't forget, next week we'll be here again at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, having fun. There we go. I knew I'd find Kermie. And with that, have a great week, everybody. And enjoy the
experience.
Woohoo!
Thanks for tuning in to The Experience live with Russ and Scott. If you enjoyed today's show, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or subscribe on YouTube. See you next time.